about your family and your friends? What do they think?
My brother supported what I was doing here very much. He was very proud of it, very impressed, and he supported it very much. Unfortunately, he died less than a year after I got here. It's funny too, the last time I was talking to him, I was Skyping with him, and this was in 2015, and the U-crops were shelling the city. I was showing him, like with my laptop computer, the camera, webcam. He could hear on the microphone, he could see and hear the artillery hitting like less than a kilometer away. And you know, as I just pointed out my balcony, and he was really amazed by that, and we had a good long talk that night. We spoke for almost an hour about life and death, and you know, the meaning of life and all that kind of stuff. It was a great conversation. It was the last one I had with him. And just a couple of weeks later, I got an email that he had died. He was a director of 5 radio stations in Texas. He's a big executive, successful, and he died of a heart attack at home in bed, and he was 53 years old. And you know, it just goes to show that, you know, the fatalistic approach that we had at the airport's really true. You know, I mean, you know, you can't, you know, when your time is up, you know, you can be at home in bed or at the front, you know, and who knows. My mom died before I came here, and my dad and my sister both really don't understand or support me being here. My dad's a supporter of Trump, my sister is a supporter of Hillary Clinton, and we just see pretty much the whole world in opposite directions. But it's okay, because I have a whole new family here. I have my godmother and my godfather, Lucy and Father Boris. They are like parents to me. My wife, she is like an angel to me. And I have many, many good brothers. The guys that I served with at the front, of course, we're still very tight. And the brotherhood of combat is as strong as the brotherhood of blood, of course.
Yeah, the US is mostly a Protestant country, but you baptized here in Orthodoxy. And what caused you being baptized?
I've studied religion most of my life. It's something that's always been a very important subject to me. In my younger days, my family was Protestant, Presbyterian and Episcopal. But I, as even a teenager, was reading about Zen Buddhism, a Native American religion. I also have read the Bible, the whole thing, cover to cover, several times. I've read the whole Quran one time, the entire thing. I've read a lot about Zen Buddhism. I went to Jamaica and lived with the Rastafarians for a while. And the thing that I see about Christianity in the West, you know, first of all, the Protestants, a lot of what they're doing, they have, and especially in Texas these days, they have these giant stadiums, churches, mega churches they call them. They hold 25, 30,000 people, and they're just businesses. And they have this prosperity gospel where basically they say that rich people are rich because God rewards them because they are good, and poor people are poor because they are bad. And that is a really disgusting and vile, false theology. It's really sickening when you think about it, because it's really the opposite of what Jesus Christ taught. And so the Protestant churches in the United States are really like a cross between a circus and a business anymore. As far as the Catholic Church goes, I have never really trusted the institution of the Catholic Church. You know, I saw a photograph today of the Pope wearing the Pope wearing a cross with the gay and lesbian colors, rainbow colors. The Pope wearing this. And I don't think that that's really appropriate under any circumstances, but when you consider all the scandals of the Catholic Church having, pedophile priests and, all these sexual crimes that have come out from Catholic priests that have been going on for decades, if not centuries. So you can't, and of course there's good Catholic people, and of course there's good Protestant people, and I know plenty of both. But for me, as an organized religion, as an official church, the Orthodox Church seems to me to be the most genuine, the most sincere, the most historically accurate, and the one that is closest to the teachings of Jesus Christ as I understand them. And I have, like I said, read the whole Bible several times and read it closely. So after my time at the airport, once I started becoming a correspondent, I met my godmother Lucy for the first time. She was born in Donetsk but lived for like 20 some years in Florida. She came back here to start a humanitarian aid fund. She looked me up. She introduced me to Father Boris, and I kind of wanted to become baptized because I wanted to say thank you, like in a physical way, to God for having protected me, for having let me live through my time at the airport. So my godfather, Father Boris, who is also, he's a Orthodox priest, and he's also a soldier. And I have two other friends that are also Orthodox priests and soldiers. So I was baptized by Father Boris, and I've been to communion many times here. We were married in the Orthodox Church, and I am an Orthodox, Russian Orthodox Christian. And I want to say too about this schism between Kiev and Moscow, that it's really easy to see there who is the good guy and who is the bad guy. Who is it that is maintaining the church as it has been for 1,000 years, and who is it that wants to change it, wants to bring in a whole different religion for political reasons, for monetary reasons. And anyone with a heart or a soul can certainly take a look at that and find in 5 minutes who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And I mean the really good guy and the really bad guy in that question.
About the humanitarian aid, can you tell about those poor people who live on front lines where you brought humanitarian aid? Spartak, Veselaya, the most difficult places. Can you tell about people?
We've done humanitarian aid missions all over the DNR, also to the LNR. Over the years, we've brought in a lot of supplies, a lot of money. We've helped a lot of people. It was not all for people on the front line, although a lot of it was. We've helped Детский дом, школы, a lot of pensioners in Veselaya village, in Gorlovka, Gagarin, on the very northern Gorlovka, Gagarin Rayon, Telmanova, a lot of places, Avdiivka, civilian people that, they're, everything from little kids to old babushkas. They don't have the money or the ability to move somewhere else, and they just they live under shelling and they get used to it. They're very, very courageous people, very kind and peaceful people. They didn't go looking for the war came to them, and they're truly the innocent victims of this war. And this war never would have happened without the work of the United States government. They didn't go looking for a war, the war came to them. I mean, just a couple of days ago we were in the Petrovsky district. UCROPs fired the AGS, just random shots into the civilian area, and a miner and his son were home, a retired miner and his son were home. They're just sitting there watching TV. He goes in the kitchen, puts up his cup of coffee, walks back into the living room, and an AGS grenade comes flying right through the window. It blew up his refrigerator, blew up his whole kitchen, blew up the window. Just a few meters away, a little girl was playing in the yard. Bomb hit in the yard. Luckily, she wasn't injured, but it's just it's right there in their yard. It's right there in their kitchen, So I mean, they're not looking for it, but it comes right to them, and they're truly innocent victims. And
this is the area where our family lives.
Yeah, it is the area my wife's family lives, very, very close. And
next house.
Yeah, the next house. And so, they're not looking for war. It came to them, and somebody has to help them, and somebody has to protect them.
Everyone knows the fact that even in Lvovskaya Oblast, they even had NATO division that came and trained. And did you ever happen to contact with their trainers?
No, it is a fact that American Army and American mercenaries are working at the front. When I was in Spartak in 2015, we would hear English language on the Ukrainian Army frequencies. So, either English or American. It sounded like American accents. I mean, I heard them myself. I know for a fact that there was Americans at the UCROP Army base, frontline combat base. And, to me, they're like pirates or mercenaries. And Donetsk People's Republic is now my home, and who comes here to attack it, I don't care where they're from, America or anywhere else. I'll be happy to meet them on the battlefield and defeat them any way I can if they come here to fight.
Did you ever happen to contact and talk to them?
No. I mean, actually, I did have like a Facebook debate with this Swedish mercenary, Michael Skillet, I think his name was, something like that. He was in Azov for a while. He said he was a sniper, and said, and another American over there, Craig Lang, that said he was in Pravi sector, and he said that he was in Spartak either at the time I was or a little bit after, but he's back in the United States now. Skillet's back in Kiev or in Sweden or something. They're just, they're real criminals. They worked Pravi sector, Azov, those are genuine Nazi units. And so I had a little bit of correspondence with both of those guys, and found them not the kind of guys that are worthy of any kind of respect. I would meet them on the battlefield anytime.